In Leviticus chapter 11 that we just read here, there is a very interesting dietary law that we are slightly familiar with. But here's a suggestion that I have for you in regard to speaking with Jewish folk. And there are maybe Jewish folk that are listening, and I'll ask this question to you. Why? Do you know why? Do you know why you weren't allowed to eat certain things? Do you know why you still do not eat certain things? Ask the Jewish person this, very simply. Let them explain. Make sure they understand it is not a question that you care to ask to argue. Because Christians don't get along with Jews, unfortunately. If we look at the book of Acts, the Jews got along with Gentiles. This is how the Gentiles were helped be brought in. But there were Gentiles involved too, who were reaching out to Jews. Nowadays, Christians want to put themselves in a higher plane. Jews want to do the same thing. There is no humility involved. There are things to be learned from the Jewish folk who would help us greatly to understand why these things were implemented. But here's a thought that I have that I was wanting to present to Jew and Gentile and Christian, everybody. It's when the Passover was mentioned, or not Passover, the Sabbath. It says it shall be a perpetual, well, I don't know if it's covenant, it doesn't say covenant, a perpetual something between me and thee forever, meaning the Jewish nation, forever. It doesn't say that about the dietary law. Now, I might be incorrect. Feel free to correct me if I say that in error. Show me. Where does it say? It shall be a perpetual statute. That's what I think it says. Between me and thee forever, meaning the Jewish nation. That's what it says about the Sabbath. That's why I would never argue with the Jew. I would never argue with anybody about the notion of the Sabbath. Because, God speaks to different people in different ways. We want to worship God every day. That's the point. The time is coming and now is that men everywhere will not only in this place nor in Jerusalem worship God, but will worship Him in spirit. And there will not be a certain time or a certain place or a certain way. God wants us to worship Him through our spirit, which we have access to God now because the veil of the temple that we've been reading about was ripped in half at the moment that Jesus died on the cross. That veil was ripped. This old law went away. But certain things for the Jews remain, but not the dietary law. Once again, show me if I'm wrong. Where does it say? It would be a statute forever. Well, let's get on with the reading of Leviticus 12 now.